going apart. When you first open up SolidWorks, it asks you this, right? What are your dimensions gonna be in? Inch, pounds, and seconds? And if it's gonna be ANSI, right? So here is where I can change it to metric if I want to, right? Obviously the US wants to be different than the rest of the world, so we use imperial, or standard math, correct? Anywhere else in the world, they use metric, right? So which one's better? To me, the metric system makes a lot more sense, but we live in America, so we do inches, pounds, and seconds, correct? All right, so this usually comes up, but you can minimize this just like that, right? So you open up your SolidWorks and you can't get rid of this, so this is sticking out way over here. That's how you just hide it, correct? So obviously down here on the tabs, I'm gonna go to Sketch, and I'm gonna hit Sketch, and I'm gonna go to Top Plane, right? So now I'm looking at my drawing, and I'm gonna make the circle first. So from the center, let it come out, go to Smart Dimensioning, correct? And that is 2.19 diameter, correct? Thank you for the feedback, guys, I appreciate it. So then, I'm gonna make the outer one, right? So it's gonna be a bigger circle, correct? So I go to the circle, click it, Smart Dimension, go back to it. So this is how much? 1.44 times 2, right? Use the system use the math in the software, right? Instead of you bringing out a calculator or taking out your phone and doing it there, let it do it for you, right? I keep it simple because I'm what? Yeah, let's say it for you. I'm stupid, right?
I wasn't going to say that.
Y'all never heard that? Keep it simple,
Yes.
stupid?
I heard it, but I wasn't going to say it. I was going to say keep it simple and smarter.
All right, so 1.44 times 2, correct? Boom, it does the math for me, right? So now, I'm gonna do my 2 circles on the side. So if I grab my circle, now, notice how this comes out, right? If by touching this here and making that come out, I'm adding a relation to it. Automatically, the software does it. SolidWorks does. So I don't want to click here because if I put it on that point, I add a relation to that, right? And this circle can only be as far as this circle goes because it's limited by that relation. Does that make sense? So I'm going to make it out here by itself, right? Now I'm going to Smart Dimension it, bring this out, and that's 0.31, right? Now that I have that circle, now I could go into Smart Dimension, Horizontal Dimension, right? I'm gonna click the center, I'm gonna click this one, bring this down, right? So if I look at my numbers down here, this one to this one is 3.62, right? So like I said, I'm gonna let the software do the math for me, right? So I'm gonna put 3.62 divided by 2, correct? That's it. Bam. So then I'm gonna make the other circle above this one. So we know that that one is 0.31 times 2, right? So I'm just gonna put 0.31 times 2. Enter. Now that I have these, I can easily make my midpoint so that it makes this line, right? Make sure that that 90% is on there.
Degrees.
Obviously, if I go one way or another,
1%.
I lose that straight line going up and down, correct? So that's one thing that I'm looking for. I'm making sure that 90% is
Degrees.
the 90 degrees, right? Sorry. Yeah, pass on the board, yeah. All right, now, remember guys, if I draw this line and I leave it there as a solid black line, right? Whenever I extrude it, it's not gonna like it, correct? Because it's basically cutting in the other features, right? So to avoid that, I can just
Alrighty.
click on it and go to for construction only, right? Now, I can still use this line to mirror this, but that line is no longer gonna be on the actual model. And if I put this into like a 3D printer, that line won't be there. Does that make sense? So now I'm gonna go to mirror entities. So right here, it's asking me entities to mirror. So that line, I don't need to mirror that line, right? So I just take it out. So all you gotta do is right click and delete it from that feature, right? So like I said, look at your screen. Solidworks makes it easy for us to mirror something and to copy it, correct? So right here is asking me, what entities do I want to mirror, right? So obviously, I want to take this circle and transfer it over here to this side, right? So I click on both circles. When I click on that one, arc 3 comes up. When I click on this one, arc 4 comes up, right? And we can see how it's highlighted, correct? So now, it says mirror about. So where am I gonna mirror it to? So now if I click this line, it should bring the circles to the other side, correct? So now, under mirror about, I'm gonna click that one. See how we got our preview there? That's what we want. Check mark, boom. There goes our circles, correct? So now all I have to do is make this line and make this line. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if, them, they, us, whatever you want to call yourself, right? There's multiple ways of doing this part. There's not just one way to do it. It's not like, hey, you either do it like this, it's my way or the highway. No. As long as the drawing gets done that you wanted to make happen, that's all that counts, right? So, yes, I can make another line here and just draw one line and then mirror that down here, right? Or I could just make that line and then make this line and then mirror it about here, right? So it's either way you feel comfortable. So if I grab that line, notice that right here it rotates around the circle, right? So I'm just gonna bring it up here. When it highlights, I know that that's making that angle, right? I'm gonna hit escape so it doesn't continue it. Select line again. Now come off the bottom, right? Go to it. Now I'm gonna hit escape. So then I'm gonna use the mirror function again. Entities to mirror, this line and this one, mirror about. There we go, right? Hit my check mark. Now from here, I can trim entities. So I'm gonna trim this line, trim this one, trim this one, and trim that one, right? So obviously I have circles within my feature, right? That's okay. As long as I'm gonna extrude this to the same depth, I could do this in one feature like that, right? Now, what I could have also done is I could have drawn the actual gasket without the hose, right? And then extrude the hose afterwards. You could do that too, correct? But since I know we could do it this way, we're just gonna leave it like this. So now I'm gonna go to features, extrude boss. So notice that it's letting me click, pretty much saying, hey, what do you want to extrude, right? Since I have this line going down here, it's treating this one separate from that one. Does that make sense? So I need to click this one, and I need to click that one. We see how it came up now on both sides? Now I just highlight this and I give it the thickness. So how thick is it? 60 thousandths, right? So 0.06, enter. Hit the check mark. Too easy. All right? Anybody have any questions on how to draw the gasket?